Let's review the Sonos Ray. Welcome everybody to Apple Insider. It is Andrew here, and I'm excited about the Sonos Ray. This is a new move for Sonos. They'd already come in on the high end of the soundbar market and the mid-tier of the soundbar market with the Beam and the Arc. The Arc even is able to produce pretty incredible Dolby Atmos 3D surround sound in your living room with just a single speaker. But if you were looking for something that didn't cost you north of $500, you didn't have an option inside of the Sonos market, and you were left turning to cheaper third-party alternatives like Vizio, JBL, and the many more that flood the pages of Amazon. So how does the Sonos Ray stack up to those other options? And is it really better? Well, I'm pretty excited about this speaker. There's a lot of stuff to love, but there's also a few downsides that I think you should be aware of. So let's go ahead and start just at the beginning. The Sonos Ray is an affordable soundbar from Sonos. Comes in at less than $300, $279 if you want to be precise. And it comes in two different colors. The black model that I have here, but there's also a white colorway that you can opt for. Immediately after picking the product up, I was excited because Sonos has been transitioning to this really great sustainable packaging. It's a small thing and many of you may not care, but I think it's important to have such a sustainable packaging for your product. It's super compact, takes up less space, costs less to ship, and there's not a lick of plastic anywhere here. Just all recyclable paper and cardboard. I think it's pretty great. When you open it up, you'll find the Ray itself wrapped in this piece of cloth material that helps protect it and the grill from any damage during shipping and handling. There's physical controls on the top, and there are technically 4 drivers on the inside. It'll produce stereo audio, so no Dolby Atmos or anything like that, but your standard stereo audio, left and right. The 4 drivers include 2 mid-woofers as well as 2 tweeters. And then it's pushed all the way to the edges using some physical waveguides that'll help move that audio to the outside and improve or increase the overall perceived soundstage of the speaker. While this is technically a stereo speaker, you can always improve it by adding on additional Sonos products. That's what makes Sonos successful in many ways, because you can start off with that single product and slowly grow your Sonos lineup, adding more and more devices. So if we're looking at the Ray soundbar in your living room, what would you want to add? Well, you could add a couple additional rear speakers, pick up a couple of Sonos One SLs, or any of the IKEA Symphonisk speakers. This guy here is actually one of the IKEA Symphonisk speakers, and it's one of my favorite. It's basically can be wall mounted, and it has Sonos speakers on the inside, and it's crazy affordable. Plus, you can replace that fabric on the front with a variety of different options from IKEA and from third parties that create their own art to put on these. So they can just blend into your house, and is an easy way to add some rear speakers and get a more immersive playing experience. If you want, you can also add a subwoofer, though I'll come back to the subwoofer situation in just a few. One of the few things that irks me, though, is that the Sonos Ray is only able to connect to your television via an optical audio cable. This has some problems. So optical audio isn't bad, and it definitely has some pluses, and I've never noticed any delays when playing games through my PlayStation. Everything just came out great. But it will only accept controls from remotes that use IR. There are many remotes out there on the market, many TV manufacturers, that only include RF remotes or Bluetooth remotes. And a lot of the times with those, you'll be out of luck in controlling the Sonos Ray. It's a huge problem for people that don't have a compatible remote. And you'll need to look at buying a third-party IR remote that you can use to control the Ray, or you're left using the physical controls on top of the box. That's not an ideal user experience. The Beam and the Arc both are able to connect over HDMI ARC or eARC. So that ARC, or audio return channel, is just a special version of HDMI. And it'll pass over controls via CEC. So I can press and do things to the television, and it'll pass commands to that HDMI to the soundbar to respond to. And it makes it much more compatible with a broader array of televisions and remotes. Fortunately for me, as an Apple user, it is possible to use the Apple TV remote with the Sonos Ray. That was one of the first things that I had to test, and fortunately, I was good to go. But not everybody's going to have that same experience. So use the Sonos guide that they have put, there's a link to it down below in the description, that will help you determine which remotes will work and which ones won't work with the Sonos Ray before you go to pick one up. That brings us to audio quality. I've listened to a lot of audio on the Sonos Ray. I started off by watching just your typical TV shows, and everything sounded good. I then moved to some movies, watched a lot of big blockbusters that had a lot of explosions, things like catching up on Thor before seeing the new movie, watching YouTube videos, just all sorts of stuff. I also played some audio through the Sonos app as well as through AirPlay too, and even music, it all sounded great. Everything about the speaker actually sounds really nice for a less than $300 speaker and is better than most of the other budget soundbars that I have tried out. The biggest concern would probably be the bass, which is just, it's good. It's not great, but it's good, and it definitely made me feel like I would like to add a dedicated subwoofer at some point in the future. And that's a little bit of a pain point for me because many of the other $300 speaker setups include a subwoofer in the box. At the moment, Sonos only offers the $749 third generation Sonos sub to pair with your $279 speaker. There's a huge difference in price. It'll cost you almost 3 Sonos Rays to afford one subwoofer to pair along with it. Now, if it makes you feel any better, there are a lot of prevailing rumors that Sonos is getting ready to introduce a new mini sub. This new mini sub sounds ideal to me, being able to pair a much more affordable subwoofer to a much more affordable soundbar. I would really prefer if Sonos did that, but nothing is official. These are all just rumors, so take that for what it's worth before committing to making a purchase. But the biggest thing that I thought was good with the audio is that the dialogue just popped. Other reviewers have noticed this as well. And just despite having no dedicated center channel, the dialogue comes through loud and clear. If you're listening to your TV speakers, they can often just sound muddied and kind of hard to parse, but it sounded so much better on the Sonos Ray than a television speaker and many other budget soundbars. They did a very good job at isolating that audio and making sure that it was crystal clear, whether it was playing games and there's dialogue going or watching a movie or a TV show. Frankly, this thing just has great audio for the price point. For Apple users, another benefit is that this supports AirPlay 2. AirPlay is Apple's wireless way to cast audio around your home, and it means you can pair your Sonos speakers with other third-party AirPlay speakers. So if you have some HomePods in your house or other AirPlay speakers, you can send multi-room audio to all of them at the same time. So I can send some audio to my Safe and Sound in the ceiling, I can send it to my HomePod and HomePod minis, and I can send it to the Sonos Ray all at the same time and play music in sync in all those locations. It's pretty cool. You can also go to, of course, other Sonos speakers, whether you're using AirPlay 2 or you're just using the Sonos app where you can group speakers together and other fun things. But because this is also AirPlay 2 and works with HomeKit, it can show in the Home app, and you can even include it in shortcuts and scenes, playing audio on your speaker at predetermined times. Like if you want to create a workout scene and you'll turn on some lights to whatever you like and start playing your workout playlist on the Sonos Ray right in your living room. It's pretty handy, and if you're a smart home aficionado like me, it's definitely a benefit because many other budget soundbars that are in that $200 to $300 price range don't include any Wi-Fi audio and instead use Bluetooth, where you have to be much closer and deal with a tedious pairing method each and every time. So let me know what you guys think. I think this is a great option for Sonos, and I'm very excited that more people will be able to get into that Sonos ecosystem and slowly start to build it out. They make great products, and the Ray is no different. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments or on Twitter at Andrew_OSU. If you'd like to pick up a Sonos Ray for yourself, there is a link in the description where these things are still available. They've been selling out pretty quickly. Other than that, stay tuned. I've got a lot more videos coming your way.